We start tonight with charges now filed against Hunter Biden, a significant and serious step in the federal investigation of the son of the President of the United States. There are 3 felony gun-related charges, 2 counts for failing to disclose drug use when seeking to buy a weapon, 1 count for unlawful possession of a firearm while addicted to a controlled substance. They stem from Hunter Biden admitting he lied about his drug use when he purchased a handgun in 2018. This broke a few hours ago. Mick, we'll start with you. How big of a deal is this?
For Hunter or for the president? I think for the president.
Let's go both.
Yeah, I think for Hunter it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think it is. These are serious charges. Keep in mind, one of the things that the Democrats especially talk about is the importance of background checks when you buy guns. And that goes right to the heart of this matter. So I think it's a serious matter for him. I don't think it's that big a deal for Joe Biden because there's no connection between the two. I think the emails, the pseudonymous emails are a much bigger deal for Joe Biden. The payments from the Ukrainians, if those exist, is a much bigger deal. But look, Hunter Biden had an addiction. He did a bunch of stuff that was illegal, apparently, according to these allegations. But I don't think there's any connection between him and the president on this directive.
I was talking to a Democratic strategist today who said this is just a distraction. And I'm guessing the last thing, David, Joe Biden wants right now is another distraction as he runs for president.
Well, look, the president's obviously going to be very concerned about his son, and that's not a distraction that any president needs when they're president, right? I mean, it is the toughest job in the world. He's staring down a very difficult reelection, and he's now got to be very concerned about his son. And he's also a father, and that would distract any parent, no matter how old you are and how old your children are. As a political matter, I'm not convinced that Mick is necessarily right in this regard, right? One of the things Joe Biden did, and we've talked about it, Blake, when he ran in 2020, is say that, look, with me, the mess is over, right? And you don't have to deal with all of this drama and all of this uncertainty. And with his son now under federal indictment, possibly going to trial next year, in the heat of the general election campaign, there's a picture voters are going to see, which is obviously Trump's big mess, and it's a big mess and a big potential problem for him in a general election. Yeah. But it allows Trump to say that, look, I mean,
Can you buy that argument?
I'm not perfect, but look at the other guy. He's got problems too. Republicans will jump on this message. Democrats are concerned about it, even though you're right that until the president is directly tied to a problem.
I can see part of that. I can see part of, you elected me because you wanted to get back to something that was normal. You want to get rid of the scandal and all that kind of stuff. So I see part of that. I guess the difference is the Democrats are making the case it was actually Trump who was causing all of the scandal. And I think parents will cut Joe Biden some slack because it's his son. It's not exactly the same. I don't think you're wrong, but there could be an impact.
Well, no, I mean, a question I have is how much do voters care about this? When we talk about, voters cutting them slack. I mean, Joe Biden, politically, I would say today, I mean, I think it happened as he was giving his speech, if I'm not mistaken, but he's doing what voters want to hear about, the economy, talking about the economy, whether you agree with that message or not. He's focusing on those kitchen table issues. The Hunter Biden stuff is so inside Washington baseball because it's happening, obviously, at a time when the impeachment stuff is taking place as well. So I think it's way over voters' heads to a certain degree.
And I think at a certain point, every family has people who suffer from addiction. I think we all know people who suffer from addiction. And I think it's time for Joe Biden and the White House to get in front of this, whether it's a sit down with Hunter and the press, or whether it's Joe Biden giving a speech to the American public about
Joe Biden, Hunter, and the press?
Yes, I think it's
like, what would that look like?
I mean, you could do a 2020, you could do a 60 Minutes interview. They could find an outlet where there's a friendly.
How does he handle the pardon question? Because he's going to start getting that question.
He's already said he's not going to pardon him. But I think what you do is humanize this. And the more that Trump attacks this, I think the more he's going to turn off independence. Because when you look at the facts, we've got 28 million Americans who have alcohol use disorder, 37 million Americans who are illegal drug users, and 50% of people age 12 and over have illegally used drugs in their life. This is something we all have gone through. And so I think the White House would be smart to get ahead of this.
Well, joining us.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.